Good morning, good morning. Tuesday morning, how's everybody doing today? Hope you guys are doing well. We're set and ready to go. It's Tuesday. Usually we get some more movement in the markets if it hasn't already begun on the Monday. And it seems like things have started moving. So that's good for us. That's good for looking for trading opportunities because we're always looking for that momentum to kick into the market. So today we're going to look at potential trading ideas, keeping into consideration though what we were talking about last week and even yesterday about the current phase of the market. What are we expecting from the market this week? Okay. So we were examining the CFTC data. We were looking at what was taking place on the charts with respect to gold and the dollar and the euro, and we know that there's potentials for retracements. So retracements are not the best times to be trading because you're going with the overall flow of how the market is moving. So it's not ideal to be going against retracement or to be going against the flow of the market, but we're going to be examining the markets anyways and seeing if there's anything that we can see. All right. So welcome. Glad to see you're all here. If you can hit the like button before we get started, I would appreciate. All right. What do we have here? So we got the CAD yen up. CAD yen has been a good one for us here at the school. We had this as a long trade signal. It worked out extremely well. And let me point out to you the accuracy of supply and demand, the way that we do it here at the school. Accurate supply and demand, actual supply and demand, because there's a lot of people saying that they're doing supply and demand. I don't know what type of supply and demand they're doing, but it doesn't look anything close to what we're doing. But let's just show you that, okay? That was our target right there. That was our target. You see how price hits the target and then all of a sudden it turns over? Why do you think that is? Because when we are looking for our targets on our trades, what we're trying to find out is, when we're looking at the charts, what we're trying to locate is those areas we believe the institutions will take profits on their long positions. So we want to be taking profits when the institutions are taking profits. Okay? Because usually after they take profits, we see reversals. Okay? It can continue higher, but typically what we see is reversals. So we want to get out at the time that we think the banks are going to get out, and then we can start taking trades afterwards. All right, so let's take a look here. We got, let me just fix this like that and like that. So CAD yen, we got supply in play and potential for a retracement down. We look at the US CAD for a little bit of insight, and we're seeing it's perking up. Okay, so strength is what we are expecting here. Sorry, strength in the US CAD, the weakness in the CAD. So going back to the CAD yen, there's a good possibility that we see price drop, especially with what we're seeing on the US CAD. Good possibility that we see it drop, and so far that is taking place. So shorter term move to the downside. In fact, let's just do something here. Like that. And I will also do something else. That. All right, so we got that. This is what the 4-hour chart looks like to me. We got a situation where price is reversing off of a monthly area of supply that has already been contacted. And we also got weekly supply located just a little bit higher as well. So, but the likelihood of the CAD yen dropping is pretty good. And there, again, the reason for that is because when you look at the US CAD, we're seeing really good signs that the US CAD is going to rally, which means the Canadian dollar is going to get weaker. Okay, so could it bounce? Could it rally up here and drop? There's a good chance of that. There's a good chance of that. All right, I would be keeping my eye on that, especially on the lower time frames. You know, once price gets up here, I'd be looking for entry on the lower time frame for a move lower like that. So going to keep an eye on that. Like I said, not the highest probability trade setup, but could work out quite nicely. There's a lot of evidence to suggest that it will work out nicely. Okay, what do we got here on the US CAD? We are expecting a move up. Remember we were saying once these two areas get taken out, then it's clear sailing to the upside. So I'm seeing that now. The first area got taken out quite nicely. And now the second area is getting taken out. So look at this chart. Okay? This is clear for a move up now. Very clear for a move up. So I'd be watching this area here. If we get price to consolidate up at these highs before retracing, then I'd be looking for entry off of this area here. Okay? Lower time frame charts, you know, whatever type of system you use for trading, any type of system you use to locate bullish price action, I'd be waiting for price to get down here, and then I'd be using that system to look for bullish price action, and I'd be getting in down there and exiting at the 122.60s in around there, I'd say. So I'm going to put a target here, just like that. And we're going to put in short-term target. There you go, 122.69 short-term target on US CAD. That's what I'm seeing. Both obstacles taken out. Looks good. Want some consolidation up here. I want it to stay up here for a while. I want to know that the banks are serious about removing this area. Not just, oh, we're going to remove it, now we're going to reverse price and start heading lower. We don't want that. Okay? I want to know that they're serious about taking price up to these highs and keeping price up at those highs. If they do that, then that's good. That's a good sign. So I'll be watching that one for sure. In fact, yeah. In case I forget, let's put an alert like this. Alert. And we'll set up an alert so that when price crosses down, we get triggered. There we go. Very good. Okay. So that's playing out quite nicely. Last week we were talking about how we were expecting this push to the upside, and that is exactly what we got. Very good. Very good. What do we have with the other ones? US Swiss. Now it's starting to perk up a little bit off that area that we had mapped out. Slowly, but it's taking its time. Taking its time for sure. Yeah. Let me see here. Let's check this up here. That's not what I want. US dollar, Japanese yen. A little bit of bullishness there alongside the dollar. Let's go back to the dollar, see what the dollar's up to. Yeah, perking up, nice. Here on the 4 hour, we got that little push through this area here. That's good. This has got room to rally up as well here. It's looking good. Alright. So I don't see anything really special here. Let's take a look at the Aussie. You know, a little bit more weakness here since all the other pairs are getting weak. Euro, kind of pausing there. I did see pound getting quite weak. Let's kick back up. Yeah, it's stuck in that this range type scenario here. You know, the trend line supply, you know, coming back to the trend line. So as I was mentioning, we can get, you know, price to just be compacted up here. And it's not unusual to see that. So, you know, it's not a big surprise to me. But in situations like that, it just makes reading price a little bit more difficult. So let's take a quick look at the pound pairs and see what we're seeing there. Not much here. Pound Aussie, pound CAD. Yeah, these have been just coasting sideways. Pound hasn't been doing anything, neither has Aussie. Pound hasn't been doing anything, and the CAD has just basically been sitting down there. Look at the weekly chart of pound CAD. Look at all that ranging. I mean, I don't know. If you're going to trade that, where are you going? You know? We're going to go with that one. There's not much momentum here. Look at the daily chart. Not much momentum. A little bit of up, a little bit of down. A little bit of up, a little bit of down. It's been stuck here for quite some time. So, you know, you got demand here. You got supply here. These are the two forces that are really keeping price locked in. So for me to get interested in trading this, you know, one of these areas would have to be broken through. You know, let's get out of this range, let's open it up, and then see, you know, what price is doing afterwards. Until then, nothing. Nothing to see there. Pound yen, let's take a look. So this one, still looking really bullish. So since the pound is not giving us any clear indication of what is likely going to take place with that one, we look over to the US dollar, Japanese yen. We're seeing potential for a rally. Okay, it's looking quite bullish right now. But in terms of the charts, we just responded to some supply. All right. So for this one to continue higher, we'd really need to see a good, strong future for the dollar. And I'm not seeing that. You know, I see short-term move to the upside, sure, right? We've talked about that before. Short-term, we are definitely seeing that, but longer term, you know, I'm not seeing longer term. So, and that's not a good thing. If I'm going to take a trade where I want the Japanese yen to get weaker, I would want to see that the dollar long term is looking to head higher. If I don't see that, then what's the purpose? Okay, so US dollar, Japanese yen, long term to the upside, probably not. It's going to be short-lived. Okay, so unless we get some serious strength coming in on the pound, US dollar, pound yen is not going to be doing much. And right now, I don't see any reason why a lot of strength would come in. You know, the only thing we got is that ascending trend line. And we can't tell if there's going to be a strong push from that or not. It could go up or it couldn't. It's, it really does depend. There's no big institutional area of buying there from the bank, so how would we know? Just update my charts. All right. Let's take a quick look over at the SPY. I know a lot of you trade that. Let's see what's going on here. Highs. Very nice. We had that supply on the daily chart that we were talking about. So now we have demand here. Let's do this here. Okay. Nice uptrend. Demand in play. Very good. Let's adjust the trend line. There we go. So we have a nice uptrend here with demand. Really nice. It's very, very supportive for a continued move higher. Very good. On the 4-hour chart, it fell short of hitting demand right here. Got really close to retracing to that area of demand right here. Just fell short and then it took off. But once that obstacle was removed, that was the sign to go higher. Right here. Once this area of supply was removed, which happened right there, that was your signal to take this to the upside. So that's looking pretty decent. Dow Jones, probably the same thing. They always do the same thing, pretty much. This one's responding to supply and holding. Interesting. Not taking up to the upside. Interesting. Let's take a look here. See, Nasdaq is flying. Wow. Wow. And where's it flying from? The area of weekly demand that we located. Look at that. This was institutional buying taking place right here. Came down, hit the institutional buying exactly where the trend line, ascending trend line was located. And then now we're seeing price push up. Very good. That's how they do it, ladies and gents. That is how they do it. In fact, I see something else here on the 4-hour chart. Yes, I do. Looks like at this area here of demand they use to facilitate that move higher on the 4-hour. Nice move. All right, so let's see here. Back to the euro. So drop down, hit demand, rallied up, hit supply, came back down, hits demand again. 4-hour, we got this situation here. Let's see. Yeah. Looks like there was a zone here. Right here that was used to facilitate that move lower. Yeah, other than that, there's not much really to see here because of this move that we are expecting. This retracement. It could play out in many different ways. So that momentum isn't very strong to the downside because, again, it's not facilitated by extreme selling from banks. When the banks come in and push price with major selling or buying, that is the momentum that we can see very clearly. It's very clear when we see that. But when it's going through these phases, it's a different story. So it's difficult to time entries. So we might have that short trade we were discussing last week. We added it to the watch list on Kiwi, short-term short. A short-term, multiple hours, potentially days. The downside. And then, let's see. We got targets lower. Yeah. Short-term short trade. That's what I'd be doing right now on the Kiwi, because we got supply in play. We are expecting it to get removed in time. We don't know how long it's going to take, but we do expect supply to get taken out. But currently we have that supply area that is in play, and that's what's causing the pressure to the downside on the Kiwi. Now again, this supply has been contacted a couple times, so the amount of pressure that we're going to get to the downside from it, it's very questionable. But it does seem that the momentum is to the downside. When we look at all the other markets, there seems to be a consensus that price wants to retrace. And based on that consensus, this is what the short trade idea would be based on. Okay? So you have to understand there are inherent risks involved with going short the Kiwi right now. But there's a good chance that it will work. But just know that it's dangerous. Okay? There are some risks involved. It's not the highest probability. Just like going long the USDCAD, there are some risks involved. Why? Well, because the bigger time frames are dictating what is happening with price. So let's just show it to you once again. So if I have to label each time frame, I would say the monthly is yellow, meaning beware. The USDCAD, I'd also say beware. Why? Because the weekly chart was downtrending, okay? The weekly chart was downtrending. It retraced up to supply, and it used that supply to facilitate a move to the downside. Okay, so now that has played out. So now what? Okay? So now when you look at the daily chart, it's downtrending, but demand is in play. Okay? So overall, this chart wants to go down, but it can potentially rally from where it's at now because of the demand that's in play. All right? So you have to be aware of the two scenarios. On the monthly chart, we don't have any strong trends to the downside, but we do see that price had momentum to the downside, which we took advantage of over the last couple of months with short positions. The weekly chart, it was in a downtrend. It used supply to push price to lows, and now it's at the lows, and momentum is shifting to the upside. All right? So I wouldn't be, so focused on price continuing to the downside over the midterm right now. That's not what I would be focused on. Then we look over to the daily chart. What do we see? We see that, yes, there is a downtrend, but we have demand that's in play. So if there's a downtrend on this time frame and demand is in play, we can't expect price to go lower because demand is in play. The only time that we could expect price to go lower is if supply was in play, but supply isn't in play, so therefore we can't have the expectation that it's going to go lower. Now when we look over and switch on to the 4-hour time frame, okay, we have an uptrend on the 4-hour time frame, which could facilitate that move up from the daily demand on the daily chart, which could facilitate a move up on the weekly chart towards the descending trend line. So based on that way of thinking, we could get price to push up. So know what's in play, know what's going on, know what the risks are, and if you take all those things into consideration, this could be a good trade. You know, if I took a long trade, the targets would have to be the opposing obstacles on the time frame higher. That's how you would look at it. So I think this is a good trade. I think this looks good. Continue to monitor it. All right. So those would be my picks. Those would be the picks of the week. Like that. Again, that consolidation has to take place up at these highs. I'd be focusing on entering around these areas here based on lower time frame momentum shifts to the upside. So I basically would want to see the banks coming in and buying up the USCAD. That's what I'd want to see. I'd want price to come down here. I switch it down to a 15-minute chart, wait for those momentum shifts that we've always been talking about through so many of our sessions. And then, you can have a 2-to-1 profit to reduce risk on the trade and then take off the rest there. I think that looks good. I think there's a lot of good reasons to support this trade for short term. All right, ladies and gents, I think that covers about the most important things that are taking place. Just a small handful of trades. They are riskier, like I mentioned. They are riskier, so you have to keep that into consideration. That there's going to be inherent risks with these trades, and the reason being is because of the phase that we're currently in. If you understand that, then you understand that the trades could potentially work or not. So to put the odds in your favor, you wouldn't want to get in blindly on any type of zone. You wouldn't want to do that. I wouldn't do that. So I'd be waiting for price to retrace to those areas, and then I would be looking to get in on lower time frames once I see that momentum is shifting in the appropriate direction. So that's what I would be focused on for this week. That's what my focus would be on. And so we'll see. We'll monitor this throughout the week, and we'll see if those trades work out or they don't work out. All right, let's see some messages here that you have sent to me. Let's see, what do we got here? Jamie Diamonds stacks dollar for inflation. Like a sailboat out at sea with no wind, just adrift. Yeah, we're seeing a lot of that in the markets right now. Cashing out profits from cat shorts into the trend line, and or daily supply just above the ammo, up to short, back down. Yeah, I believe over time this will be a good trade to get in short once again. Just waiting for it to set up. All right. If you guys wouldn't mind hitting that like button one more time. We got a lot more viewers than we do likes. That's a shame. Appreciate if you guys could hit the like button for me. And that shows me your support and support for what we're doing, and support for me trying to help you out with the markets to make better sense of what's taking place, so that you can protect your capital in your trading account. So if there's not any other questions, I will be letting you guys go. Got a ton of work to do. We're going to be setting up new classes. We're going to start new level 1 and level 2 classes the beginning first week of July. So we're going to take the rest of this month off. I got a ton of projects that I'm working on, and I want to focus on those projects for the rest of this month, and also get a little bit of some strong analysis sessions. Usually when I sit down by myself and I'm looking at the markets, I take my time, and I could take several hours on each chart. So I like to just do an in-depth overview of what I'm seeing to get some strong indications of what is likely to come. But I think we're pretty on board with what is taking place so far. I think, for what I'm seeing, I think we're pretty good. Just need to wait for these retracements and then see what the banks have in store for us afterwards. Okay, so that's it. So I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you tomorrow, Wednesday. All right? If you have any other questions, just let me know. I'll stick around a little bit longer to see if any questions come up, and if not, then I'll let you guys do your thing. Gonna be watching this gold chart right here. Watching this one right here. This one. Next few days. Okay, I think something might be happening there soon, but we'll see. Okay, doesn't look like there's any more questions, so I'll let you guys go.